Welcome to the Masculine Code Podcast. This is your host, Jim Vance. Hope you're having an amazing week. And today, for you guys out there, I wanted to talk about something that, plagues us all as men. It plagues us all in relationships. It plagues us in business. It plagues us with ourselves. It plagues us with our family. It plagues us with our significant others, with our children. It's the ability to communicate at a high level. And I really want to talk about 3-4 tips on how to improve your communication as a man within your relationships so that you have the thing you want and so that you can have the outcomes that you desire. So the one thing I know is communication is your lubrication when it comes to relationships. And if you're constantly not having the ability to communicate, you're not having the ability to ask for what you want, you're not having the ability to have hard conversations, to be straightforward, to move people in the direction that you need them to move, you're going to live a life that feels not the way you want it. The relationships are going to be struggling. Your ability to feel confident in asking for what you want is going to struggle. You're going to feel diminished in your world because your ability to talk and your ability to listen, your ability to hear is so important when it comes to your partner and just in relationships in general. So today, I'm going to spend a good bit of time just talking about communication because I think communication for men is absolutely one of the most important things that we can cover and talk about and really learn to become better at so it will improve all parts of our relationships, whether it be, like I said, from significant other to family members, because it's super important. It's the same concepts. It's just different people, right? The concept of communicating doesn't change, just the people that you're communicating with change. And that means that you have to literally take charge of the situation. So as the masculine, we need to lead. And if we don't lead in communication or the style of communication that we want, then we're not going to get the thing that we want because we're just leaving it up to the other person to lead us down the road. And that's just not what happens. So the first thing I want to talk about is the first tip I would say is be in communication. You want to be as direct as possible, right? You have to be straightforward. As men, a lot of times we have the tendency to beat around the bush because we're afraid we're going to say something that's going to hurt somebody or make them feel a certain way about us or push love away or whatever it may be. We have this fear that our directness will offend other people. Yet, the tone of your directness could offend, but the idea of being direct won't offend because it stops you from just beating around the bush and just running your yapper to run your yapper. Why the fuck do you just need to talk and be heard? That's not masculine. Everything that you do is directional, it's intentional, it's moving towards something. So if you just want to be heard and you just want to run your yapper to be heard by somebody, then you're not going to actually have a significant communication platform with anybody because they're just going to be made to hear you and never give you any opportunity or never give them any opportunity for you to hear them. And there's no exchange. There's just a one-sided communication structure. So being direct, right, it means that I have a outcome in mind that I'm moving to with this communication. I'm coming to you with a thing that, hey, I already thought through this for myself. Here is the outcome that I want. Here is what I think needs to happen. I would love your input on this, right? We have to stop just talking and we have to start communicating. Talking to talk means nothing. Communicating to get somewhere is everything. And when you aren't direct with your feelings, you aren't direct with your words, with your thoughts, with your opinions, then you are left to be led by somebody else. And yes, it's fucking hard to have hard conversations. Yes, it's fucking hard to be direct. Yes, it's fucking hard to ask for what you want. But it's just as hard to sit there in your mind and mull it over. Why am I not asking for what I want? Why am I not getting the things that I desire? Why am I not asking for this, that, or the other? Why am I not letting them know that this pisses me off? Right? So being direct is not about being angry. It's not about being emotional. It's not about anything. It's just, here's what's coming up for me, and I want to put this on the table so we can explore it together. And that's just directness. That's just straightforwardness. It's not avoidance. It's not complacency. It's not passive. Like, it's here it is. Here's the problem at hand. Let's look at it together. Because there has to be a solution here. Because if it's bothering me, it's bothering you. And we need to have a solution. And so that's number one. Like, be direct, straightforward, lead, have intention. Now do it with love. Like, if you're trying to correct somebody or point something out and somebody has a dick, then you're going to get a dick response. But if like, hey, I'm noticing that when you are asked by your friends to do things, you're quick to forego what you need to do for yourself so that you can take care of them. And for me, that doesn't feel like that's an alignment for you, because at the end of it, you feel burnt out and your energy is pulled out of this relationship. And then she's willing to listen, because you're not like, hey, stop fucking saying yes to everybody. That's being a dick. Start, hey, I feel what I see when I'm looking at this, when I'm observing, this is what I see. And I don't feel like it's aligned for you or this relationship. Then you're really like talking about shit that they can't argue with. All they can do is either give their opinion of it or say, yeah, I need to look at that and see if that's a fit for me. Then you're being direct. You're being in leadership. You're not beating around the bush. You're not saying these fucking off the wall childish comments to get some attention or to get what you want. You're just helping them see themselves, and you're helping the relationship see a problem that needs to be talked about. That makes sense. All right, number two, which is probably should be number one, is choose to listen as much as you talk, right? The one, there's an old quote, like, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth because you're supposed to listen twice as much as you talk. And I know what we tend to do is we want to be heard, and we want to be listened to, and we want to be understood. And that's a very feminine energy, which I totally get. And on some levels, you need to be heard. Like, your emotions need to be heard, and that's cool. But in that being heard, you need to hear. And if you're unable to listen to another person's opinion, you're unable to listen to another person's emotions, you're unable to listen to another person's reasoning, then you're not in a communication structure. You are in a selfish structure of you getting the what you want, fuck everybody else. And when you start to operate from that space, you no longer are in a direct, safe communication structure that allows for each person to be heard, each person to be understood, and for the relationship to move together toward a solution, right? When you try to talk more than you listen, you become a know-it-all. You think you're always right. You think your opinion matters more than the other. You think that your feelings are the most important things on the planet, and you don't want to be critiqued. You don't want to have any criticism. You don't want anything else. But the thing about men, and men, I challenge you to really think about this, like, the masculine grows in critique, in criticism. And if you're constantly avoiding listening to other people say shit about you, like, it doesn't feel good. No, it fucking hurts to hear shit about you that needs to be worked on or needs to be corrected or is hurting other people. But if you are avoiding that, you're avoiding growth. And if you're avoiding that, you're avoiding connection. Like, your ability to sit in critique and learn and listen to the things that are outside of your own purview, because a lot of times you can't see the way you show up to other people that's negatively affecting them. When you start to look at those things from a perspective of, I want to grow and I want to be the best version of me, you then increase the connection, you increase the level of the communication structure, because not only are you talking, you are listening twice as much. And you're allowing somebody else to talk. You're allowing somebody else to give you information and feedback that adds to the flavor of the communication structure and adds to the flavor of the solution. But if you're constantly avoiding the sitting and listening, the sitting and understanding, the sitting and feeling, then you are avoiding the one thing that breaks relationships, and that's the lack of communication. And giving yourself the opportunity to hear other people, and in that hearing, feeling them and what they're going through with you, you start to have some color to the fact that I'm not the only one in this process. I feel things, she feels things, we feel things. What do we want to feel together, and then how do we move in that direction? Right? The more you listen, the less time you have to talk. And the less time you have to talk, you're able to create more solutions to problems than problems for problems. If all you want to do is talk, you're going to talk yourself into more problems than you are solutions. The masculine is action oriented and problem solvers from the beginning. So if I'm able to talk, they're able to talk, then we're able to create solutions. If all I do is talk, there is no solution, because I'm not allowing my partner an opportunity to communicate and add to the solution or add to the context of what the conversation needs to be about. And then I'm not able to actually see my partner, hear my partner, understand my partner, and connect with my partner and what they're going through in their experience with me or in this relationship. And then I'm basically dating myself. And I'm married to myself because all I give a fuck about is myself, which is never positive for the relationship. All right. Number 3, stay present in your communication, right? The worst thing you can do is to start, I call it digging up bones. Go to the past to talk about present problems. You're fucked. Because you're going to misremember everything from the past. And you're going to try to paint it in a context that fits into the present moment. Stop. If you need to have a conversation about something going on today, then it needs to be around fucking today. It doesn't need to be around what happened. Well, 6 months ago, this happened and this. Shut the fuck up. What's happening now that you want to talk about? Talk about that shit. If you didn't talk about it 6 months ago, then it's gone. Talk about now. If you can't talk about now, then fucking let it go. If you didn't talk about it a year ago, then fucking let it go. That's on you. That's a PP, a personal problem. Get the fuck over it. Like, if you're not willing to be straightforward in a moment, like, hey, this is bothering me, and you're going to wait 6 months to bring it up in another conversation, don't be that way. Don't be that guy. Don't be that fucking passive aggressive, hold on and scoreboard shit to get your way and manipulate people to be on your side. Stop that fucking shit. It's stupid. It's not masculine. It's not in leadership. It's not healthy. It's not safe. It doesn't create a context of openness and connection in relationship, and it doesn't allow for good communication. Keep everything now. Whatever's happening now, we communicate about now. Whatever's happening in the moment that I have a problem with or I need to communicate about needs to happen then. If it doesn't happen then, that's fucking on you. We're not waiting 6 months to talk about the shit that happened 6 months ago. Fuck that, man. It's not that important. And if it is important, grow a set and have a conversation. Grow a set and have a conversation. Because you're constantly avoiding hard conversations because you're fucking afraid of somebody else's reaction to the problems you're feeling inside of you. They're your problems. They're your feelings. You need to talk about them, then talk about them. If you don't want to talk about them, don't blame somebody else for stepping all over your shit. Be where your feet are, too. Like, stay present in your communication. Obviously, don't dig up the past. Another one is be there. Like, when somebody's talking to you, eye contact. Phone away. Ask questions. Hear them. Like, you say you're frustrated, and I can feel that. What's frustrating you? So you know. Like, if you're just sitting there and twiddling your thumbs and looking off into space, tapping your feet on your phone and trying to have a conversation, you're fucking basically reminded your partner you don't give a fuck about them and you only care about you. Get the fuck over yourself. You're in this together. You're a partnership. You're a relationship. You're not in, if you want to date yourself, fucking get divorced and date yourself. Talk to yourself. Listen to yourself. But if you're wanting to be in a relationship, then you need to get the fuck out of your selfish ways and realize there are two people contributing to the outcome of one thing. And if you can't hear one of the people, then the outcome of the thing is going to be broken. All right, number 4. Stop blaming, shaming, and justifying your way to win the conversation. There is no win. The one thing I live by is like, if I win a fight, we lose in the relationship. If she wins the fight, we lose in the relationship. Everything I do in my relationship is, how do we win together? I love you, you love me, I love us. How do we win together? Everything that I do when I communicate with my wife is, how do we fucking win together? How do we move this in a direction that lets us both win here? Because I'm not trying to win. My need to win is ego driven. And it's not going to give me anything other than my ego feeling good, which is my childish self feeling great. My adult self wants to feel peace, love, and happiness. My childish self wants to be selfish and win and make other people feel less than. So which one is it? If you're married to the quote-unquote love of your life and you're trying to make them feel like shit by winning over them, do you really love them? Or do you love yourself too much? Do you love your fucking childish self too much? We are not in this to blame anybody, shame anybody, or justify our actions anyway. We take ownership for what we do, good, bad, and indifferent. We listen to critique as a way to grow ourselves. We don't need to justify. We don't need to blame people. We don't need to shame people. We need to listen, and we need to talk about what we feel, not why we're acting a certain way. No, what do you feel? Do you feel sad? Do you feel upset? Do you feel frustrated? Do you feel out of sorts? Do you feel out of alignment? And then explore that. But if you don't know what you're going to talk about, you're just talking to hear yourself talk, then you're going to get into this place where you start, somebody's going to get defensive, and then you got to justify and blame and shame, and somebody's got to win, and somebody's got to lose, and then you're like, fuck yeah, I won, and then she's not even giving you the time of day for 2 weeks. And so you lose, and y'all lose. It's, how do I take a pause here? Like when I'm super triggered emotionally, before I have a conversation with anybody, the first thing I do is slow the fuck down. What's on my mind? Why do I feel this way? What is it that I feel? Is this feeling happening to me right now, or did it happen to me in the past and I'm just reliving it? Do I need to talk to her about this? If so, what's the outcome I'm looking for? If so, what do I want to hear from her? And then approach it from there. Like, we pause before we push, because the pause allows us to collect our thoughts logically and not emotionally. Because when we're in the middle of our emotions, our ability to think logically goes away, and our ability to express ourselves logically goes away. And we just express ourselves from an emotional state. And when our emotions are high, our intelligence is low. And so I would rather you take a break, slow down, think through the process of what you're feeling, why you're feeling it. Is it related to now, or is it from the past? And is it something that I need to have a conversation about? If it is, who do I need to have a conversation with? And what do I need to conversate about? And when I get to that place and I'm slow and I've thought through it logically and I'm not emotional about it, my willingness to blame somebody or shame somebody or justify goes away, because it's really just a matter of, here's what I'm thinking about. Here's why I'm thinking it. And here's something that I see that doesn't sit well with me, and I just want to talk to you about it. And move it forward. So be fucking direct. Listen as much as you want to talk. Stay present with the people you're talking to. And then stop trying to win. 4 tips that I promise you, if you implement, will change the way your communication goes with everybody. Because communication is just listening and talking. Communication is not about winning. Communication is not about you getting your way. Communication is about getting people who are in two different lives and perspectives to sit and listen and understand one thing and then create a solution toward that thing. If you can do that, my brother, you're going to have the relationships you desire. You're going to have the business you desire, the family dynamics that you desire, because you are able to lead conversation. But I hope this information found you solid today. I hope it brought you a little bit of clarity, and I hope it really helps you understand that we're all in this together. We're all moving in the same direction. We all have the same issues. We all can learn from each other and grow together. And speaking of that, I just launched a community for men called the Brotherhood. And in that community, every fucking day, it's alive. Like, it's alive. I teach in there every day. I'm launching May 1st. I'm going to teach every day, coach every day. I have 2 priority laser coaching calls a month where you ask questions and I coach them directly live. I have access to my course vault, master classes, courses that I've taught in the past that you get free access to. And you get access to a community of men moving in the same direction. If you're a guy out there and you're fucking ready for that level of commitment and accountability and responsibility and growth, I'll put the link in the show notes. Check it out. I think it's something that's super special and super, something that's going to make you realize, there are men in this world moving in the direction you want to go. And when you surround yourself with that circle, you get there faster because you're learning at a faster speed. But I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. Let's stay committed. Let's stay in our power. Let's stay moving forward. Have a good week.